When we're asked to graph a function and it's already in factored form, a bunch of the work has been saved for us because typically we'd have to start by factoring. But in this case, when we look, we can see we already have 4 factors and we can see that this value here is positive. So we know right away it looks something like this from the work that we've done so far. So we know that the axis must pass through here. Here's why we know this. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 distinct real numbered zeros. So I know that it's opening up, it's got up, up, end behavior, and I know that it's going to pass through the axis in these 4 distinct places. I can tell from y equals x that x equals 0 is one of the y-intercepts, one of the x-intercepts. I know from x minus 2 equals 0 that one of the x-intercepts is 2. I know from x plus 3 equals 0 that one of the x-intercepts is negative 3 when I solve for x. And I know that x minus 1 equals 0 gives me x equals 1. So I actually now know that this is crossing at negative 3. This one's at 0, this one's at 1, and this one's at 2. So I've got a real good sense of what's going on here. When I go to look at my graph, I can see it goes approximately as far to the left as it does to the right. So I can leave my x-axis my y-axis about in the middle of the graphing space. But I don't really know how high or low this goes. When we talk about the relative max or min, that is going to be something that we always do in the graphing calculator. So I'm going to call up the graphing calculator, kind of just slide it over here a little bit so I've got enough space. And I want to go to y equals, clear out anything that's in there, and if I have my plots turned on, I want to turn those off. And I want to put in my equation. I can see that my equation is x times x minus 2. Oops, my parentheses didn't go in there. Let me go back. I'm going to use second insert so that I can put the parentheses in there before the x. And then I could do another set of parentheses and x plus 3. And another set of parentheses and x minus 1. Now, I don't know what a good window is going to be, so I'm going to choose Zoom Standard. That's kind of my default guess. Oh, my axes aren't in there. That's strange. So I'm going to take a minute and put my axes in. I believe if I go to Format, I can see that my grid was turned off, which is strange. I generally want my axes turned on. So I can have the grid on or off. Sometimes it's nice to have those grid lines in there. Sometimes they're distracting, but the big thing is that my axes are off. So I've got to turn those back on. That's not usually necessary. Now when I go to look at my graph, I can actually see what's happening. So I can see that this wasn't the best window in the world. I'm looking a lot further to the left and the right than I really need to. I'm certainly looking up high enough, but I'm not looking down low enough. So when I go into my window, I want to keep those things in mind. -5 to +5 would be plenty. But I can see that my y min needs to go much lower. I'm going to try -30. I don't know how far it needs to go. That's just a guess. And I know that I don't need to go up as high as I'm going. And this y scale might be a little bit too much. So let's take a look and see if that gives us a better picture. Yeah, that lets me really see what's going on. So in order to get my relative max and relative min, I'm going to need to use second calc max for the relative max and second calc min for the relative min. So let me go in there and do that. If I do second calc and I choose 4 for max, I can see I'm to the left of my max already, so I can hit enter, and then I'm going to move to the right a little bit. I've gone past, so there's my right bound. Oops, it says I didn't set my bound right. Let me try that again. Graph, second calc, max. All right, let me go back. I'm to the left. Now I'm to the right. And hit an extra enter. And I can see my max is about 0.5, 1.3. So I'm going to choose a max at 0.46 and 1.32. So 0.46 and 1.32 is the approximate relative max. There are two relative mins, so I need to go back and look for those. I'm real close to the first min, so I'm just going to arrow a little bit more off to the side. I'm going to do second calc min. I'm to the left, and then I'm to the right and do an extra enter for the guess. So it looks like about 1.60 and negative 1.77. 1.60 and negative 1.77, that's one min. Now there's a second relative min, so I'm going to do that process again, second calc, choose 3 for min, but now I've got to get way over here, so that's going to take a moment of arrowing back to the left until I'm to the left of that minimum point, and then I can get to the right of the minimum, and an extra enter for the guess. Looks like negative 2.06 and negative 24.06. So 2.06 and 24.06. Both in the negatives. That's another relative min point. Okay, so now that I know that information, I have a sense of scale. I know that I need to be able to go much lower than I need to go high. I can see I've got y values at 1.3 and 1.77, but I also have one down at like negative 25. So if I counted by fives, that would give me a decent estimate vertically. So I'm going to go ahead and put my axis right about here. I already know on my x-axis I don't need to mess with the scale. So I've got a point at 0, at 1, at 2. As I'm looking at that, I'm like, wow, side to side, that's actually kind of squished. I might choose to back up a minute and actually count, spread that out a little bit. I can go 1, 2, and over here, that's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. I could put it out here. So I could actually have a scale of going by 1s horizontally and go by 5s vertically. So at 0.46, 1.32. So 0.46 is going to be just shy of a half. 1.32 won't come up very far. So point on my graph, I'm just going to label 0.5, 1.3. So it's going to come like that in that section. My local min here, or relative min, 1.60, negative 1.77. So let's see, 1.60, so it's about 1.5 and down about 1.5. So it's going to be about here. That's very like shallow little curve there. Then my other min is going to be down to almost 25. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm at negative 2.06, so right around here. So I'm going this section. So that's the middle of my curve. I want to know about the end behavior. Although I know it's up and up, it would be good to know like what's the next actual line it crosses. So if I go back to my graph, I know I'm at negative 3. It would be nice to know what's the y value at x equals negative 4. And it would be nice to know what's the y value at x equals positive 3. So I'm going to try each of those. If I go second calc value and I put in negative 4, that'll tell me the tail on the other side. So I've got negative 4, 120. That's going to be way off my grid. I might even start wondering about negative 3.5 to see if I can fit that. Let's take a look. Second calc, negative 3.5. Oh, second calc value, negative 3.5. It's a little bit better. I can see it's going really sky high. That's approximately 43. So I know that this needs to go up very steeply. I don't want to cross any of the next lines because it goes up so fast. I also want to know what's the end behavior over here. So I'm going to try, this was 1, 2. I'm going to try 2.5. I don't know how steeply it goes up on this side. So second calc value, 2.5. At 2.5, it's already at 10.3. So 2.5, it's at about 10.3. I can fit that here. So 2.5, 510, that's going to be right about here. So now I can see where my end behavior goes in that direction. So I'm labeling each of my x-intercepts, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. I might want to give the approximate label here, 2.5, comma 10.3. I'm labeling my negative 3, 0, my relative min at negative 2.06, negative 24.06. I can't really label anything on the left tail. So we've got all of our x-intercepts labeled. We've got our relative max and mins labeled. Oh, I didn't label that one exactly. Let me come in here and put this one in. This was 1.06, comma, negative 1.77. And if I can give a value on my tail, I'll go ahead and do that as well. As I look at this, I'm realizing I could have stretched out my y-scale a little bit. Maybe instead of going by 5s, I could have maybe gone by 3s. That would have worked out as well too. So you can make different choices when you go ahead and make the graph, but something along these lines where you are adapting your scale to be reasonable for the points that you pick, and that you are indicating all the key values on the graph. All of those things are important.